So, welcome back to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Mark DeWolf. In today's tasty edition, we are mixing it up a bit and we are going to have a little fun around the Christmas holiday. So, it's my pleasure today to kind of have a conversation with a couple of our other on air personalities. And before we get started, just a reminder if you like what you're watching, like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and keep watching all the great people on Saltwire. So, joining me today is a couple people probably don't need too much introduction, but we have Sheldon MacLeod and Kate Walker. And Sheldon, of course, is well, he's been around broadcast maybe even longer than me, which I have gray hair, he has none. So, we've been around a while. So, but for the past 30 years, Sheldon's been pretty familiar face and voice in the Atlantic Canada scene with long stint on 95.7, various media platforms, and now it's his own show, My Take with Sheldon MacLeod, here on saltwire.com. And of course, then there's Kate, who's worked here. She's worked in Atlantic Canada. She's worked in Toronto, on air, behind the scenes. And I would suggest she probably does all of that to produce her daily newscast here for saltwire.com. So the host of and producer and the organizer and just about everything for Saltwire Today. So we have Kate joining us too. So welcome to you both.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't get to, I get to do this on a daily, weekly basis, talk about entertaining, drinking, eating. You guys have to concentrate on much more difficult things than I do. So I thought it'd be a little fun to get a little bit background insight on who the people are behind, the camera and the microphone on Saltwire. And so, Sheldon, tell us a little bit about you growing up, what was your kind of Christmas, as a kid, and where did you grow up?
Well, I was lucky enough to grow up in a couple of different communities, and one of which was in Saskatchewan. My parents moved out there when I was fairly young. They went out there to work and then kind of bounced back and forth between Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia. And I guess for earliest Christmas memories, I remember getting a Steve Austin doll, the $6 Million Man, the one you look through the little eyepiece. Yeah. And he and G.I. Joe were great friends. And I also got this, it was how you see those little helicopters on a rod that go around, but this was a Starship Enterprise. So I suspect my parents were probably trying to make up for the fact that they were about to get a divorce. That's just a guess.
There you go. I got a feeling, Kate, so I can sort of relate, and with those early Star Wars toys and things like that coming out. Kate was probably on the Return of the Jedi instead of us in our Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. But Kate, you're a Haligonian, aren't you?
I am. Yes, I grew up in the Rockingham area. My parents still live there. So there were no Star Wars toys per se in my bedroom growing up. My brother might have had some. But when I think back to Christmas growing up, it's the classic Advent calendars. Waking up every morning and, what chocolate am I going to get? And it's funny, now years and years later, my mom still buys me an Advent calendar every year. And so I still have to pick my chocolate for today.
Nice. Okay. Well, I thankfully there's some alcoholic ones out there too.
Yeah.
So I always hope to get the beer Advent calendar.
I got ripped off. I got the cheese one.
Oh no. Well, actually, what's better is to have a cheese and a beer one.
They do
go well together. Okay. So Sheldon, I of course, my memories are food related, and the wine related part didn't really come until my 20s, but favorite food memory.
Well, I have to say it would probably be the smell of baking bread. My grandmother used to make dinner rolls, and she'd make those for Christmas, and just that you walked in through the door in Mount William Road and that would just hit you because the door was right off the kitchen, and the first thing you would smell is home baked bread. Man, oh man, I miss that smell.
Yeah, Christmas really is about, like, as much as it is, it's half about almost those smells and those memories. Because I can think about myself, and one of my great traditions growing up was Christmas Eve, and my mom would make something called tourtière, and it has tourtière is like an Acadian meat pie with lots of cloves and cinnamon, all, and it's just like I still smell that, and it's still that my connection to Christmas and thinking back to a kid. So, Kate, any food memories?
Yeah, I think my food memories also come from Christmas Eve. My mom's side of the family is from Lunenburg, so my grandfather was a fisherman. So on Christmas Eve, we'd always
Mm,
have lobster,
nice.
which was a really cool tradition. And then when he passed, my aunt carried it on and did it at her house every Christmas Eve. So that's probably like my best food memory. And I personally, I don't even love lobster, but the memory itself and how it started and how it kind of carried on is probably my favorite food memory for sure. And
Well,
it's kind of like a bougie thing to do on Christmas Eve.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't want to eat your lobster, and you can, I'll take a visit before my tourtière and come over to Little Bubbles and have some lobster
They
too.
had like the napkins and
Yes.
everything.
Well, they're the right color. They're white and red, so
Yeah.
it's appropriate. And I think me and Sheldon are very slender gentlemen, so we really take care of ourselves during the course of the year. Um, but so we get to indulge a little in the holidays, and I think of like. All the treats that I had growing up. My aunt made these little chocolate coconut balls, which I just did a video about on Saltwire, and licking those candies, the barley candies, that would the candy that just kept on giving. You'd have it for about a week, where you just licked it, put it in some wax paper, forget about it somewhere, and go back to it again. Um, any indulgence there, Sheldon?
Oh, this was something I came to a bit later in life. It wasn't until I moved to the Bridgewater area. That was about 1999. It was probably close to 2000, maybe 2001, that I discovered something called Lunenburg pudding.
Mm,
And if you've never had it, I'm very saddened to say that the type that I had back then was from Greek's Meats in Bridgewater. They've since closed, but they had this. It's fairly common for families to have their own version of a Lunenburg pudding,
mm.
but it's basically there's liver. It doesn't sound good if I describe what's in it, so I won't. But it's like a traditional pudding in a casing, and served cold with a bit of HP sauce. Oh man, that to
Yeah,
me.
we probably don't want to give out the recipe on that one, but but that is a classic local treat, and it isn't that crazy. The rest of the world, and there's countries in the world that eat basically that and don't think it's all that weird. So it just us is a little freaked out, I think, by the
Yeah, it's
concept of
and the
Lunenburg.
lovely color gray. It's a
Yeah.
lovely shade of gray.
All right, Kate, you don't seem to indulge as much as me and Sheldon, but
Sure, I do.
She just goes to the gym.
yeah,
Life is about balance,
I've
okay?
heard about those places. I've heard about those.
Oh, indulgence around Christmas time. I don't know if it would be necessarily particular to Christmas, but they came out a lot around Christmas was my grandmother's sugar cookies. I'm a
Mm,
sucker for anything sugar I love. And she lived in Kentville, so didn't get to see her all the time. But every time around Christmas, she'd bring those big tins of,
mm.
just sugar cookies, and they'd be gone before Christmas even came. So that's kind of one thing that, wouldn't always have like during the year, but then around Christmas time, it was like, maybe I've had 3, maybe I've had
Mm,
5. Who
maybe
knows?
I've had the tin. Who knows?
Yeah,
Uh, that's usually those ganongs or those quality street pot.
exactly. We had
You never
those
know
too.
though if you'd open somebody else's up if you're going to get somebody's sewing kit. If it
Or
wasn't a
leftover
Christmas.
food.
Yeah, in those tins. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little rapid fire. Are you the cook, the cleaner, or neither, Sheldon?
I'm cook and cleaner.
Oh yeah.
Sure you are.
No, seriously. I learned long ago if you don't keep ahead of yourself when you're making a mess, then nobody wants to help you afterwards.
I'm definitely the cleaner. I'm doing everyone a favor to stay out of the kitchen. So cleaner on this side.
Okay,
Cleaner
yeah.
on this side for sure. Somebody's got
Uh,
to do the dishes.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to most people for the longest time. I wasn't the cook. I don't know everybody would, because it was my partner's thing. She always did the holiday meals, but now I'm more, as Sheldon says, cook, clean up, and then hopefully I have time to at least get on the couch for a little Christmas college football game or something like that. All right. I don't think this is a question I have. I'm not sure if there's actually two answers to this or not, but ham or turkey?
Turkey.
Turkey, 100%.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
No
I
question.
guess I was hoping we had some Americans on the watching us today, because I'm like, is there an answer to that? I don't know. All right.
We did try as a family once. My sister was living with us and she was vegetarian and she tried tofurkey. She wanted to help us embrace the lifestyle that she was enjoying. And I'm hoping that the substitute meat market has grown a lot from then, because tofurkey had all the letters to spell exactly how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree tofurkey can let's just
Fly out of here.
let's just serve
Yeah.
them, serve them the size, and then we'll stick to that. All right. Stuffing in the turkey or out of the turkey?
Outside.
Out of the turkey.
Okay.
For sure.
I can appreciate both, but I grew up with so I know if you cook the turkey right, you don't have to worry about anybody dying here. But I like how it's the moisture retention and the flavor from the bird. So okay. Now this is something I had no idea about. Potato in your stuffing or no potato in your stuffing? I had no idea. I guess there's something called New Brunswick stuffing where you put potatoes in. I'm like, I had never grew up with this. I had no idea until a couple years ago, and I was served potatoes in my stuffing.
Who makes stuffing without potatoes? That's the anomaly to me.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
see, for me, those are two completely separate dishes.
Like, why?
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Sounds
I guess it's a Halifax thing. No potato in the stuffing. Maybe this is for the rest. I don't
Okay.
know, because I know I learned of this and I was freaked out by it. But yeah, we have mashed potatoes. Why do we need potatoes in our stuffing? Oh well. Okay. I think actually, as much as we like turkey, I think side dishes are the where turkey dinner is really at. So what's the what are you filling your plate with?
Is gravy aside?
I think yeah.
It's one of the main food groups.
I think so.
stuffing,
Okay.
stuffing, and more stuffing. Seconds, thirds.
Yeah,
Like grandmother, every year I just make sure, like, is the stuffing here? Did Nanny bring the stuffing? That's all I care about every year.
And Sheldon, you actually can pour gravy over the stuffing.
Exactly. And I was thinking, actually, is it dressing or is it stuffing? 'Cause maybe that's the distinction,
yeah.
right?
Oh, right. I only call it stuffing. I don't know what.
I think people who call it dressing do so because it makes it sound like it's easier to take off after the holidays.
Okay. Well, I won't go into easily to take off after the holidays. That's a bottle of wine or two for me. So favorite dessert. So what do you know? So I guess I don't really even recall dessert as being so important, and like we're pretty full. Like I guess we had pumpkin pie, but is that the classic here?
It is at our house, but I'm a mincemeat guy 100%.
Oh yes, that's right. I tried to forget the mincemeat pie.
What?
No,
How dare you?
actually, as a kid, I just couldn't wrap my head around what actually mincemeat was. So I think I misinterpreted and said I want to stay away from mincemeat when I was like 8 or 10 and never really got back.
I'm not a dessert gal. Don't love desserts, but candy cane ice cream.
Ooh.
Yeah, could go for some of that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
that would be good. Okay, now see, I make a living drinking. I wish y'all. I bet everybody thought, oh, when I went through university, let's get rid of that degree and go into wine. But I have an appreciation for all the liquids. What's in your glass?
I think I'm a lot like you. I take my sugars fermented, and it's usually a nice red with the meal, even if it is a white bird, doesn't matter. Red wine is my preference. And if I'm lucky, a nice single malt, and if even more lucky, a Lafroig.
Oh, well, Sheldon, you're talking my language. So yeah, I was you're stealing my answer. Okay, Kate.
Around Christmas time, probably some eggnog with a little rum in it, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely eggnog. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, I mean, like I said, I like all the liquids. So
But like tequila year round, no matter
yeah,
what.
yeah, well, yeah, and then but I think a nice red wine, and if I could finish with a nice single malt, whether Lafroig, if I can afford Lafroig, if I can't afford Lafroig, Balmore, or something like that. But anyway, I think it's all about just having getting the family, friends together, having some great food and drink, and it's about. And I'm really happy that you guys came on, because I think for me, it's like we don't always see the personality behind the personalities, and getting to know each of us in a different way. I think it adds to. I hope it adds to our audience and understanding of who we are as people, because we are, we're all people, and Kate does the new cast, but she's a lot of fun too. So so anyway, thanks for coming on. And being part of this. And if those watching outside, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So anyways, thanks guys, and we'll see you in the office soon.
Happy holidays.